It's not often I get to interview a person who's been running a Silicon Valley tech company for longer than Mark Zuckerberg has been alive, but today is one of those days. And I'm here at the Intuit headquarters, and we're going to have an interesting conversation. Who are you?
I'm Scott Cook, the co-founder of Intuit and husband to Signe and father of 3 great kids and mentor to entrepreneurs here at the company.
What do you think it makes a great corporate leader?
There are many things. Let me pick just one of several, but it's the theme we're on today. Inspiring great entrepreneurs within the company. For any company to continue to flourish and survive and grow for years, decades, or longer, means you can't rely on the first invention, the first product, the first customers, or even the first employees. You've got to find a way to keep regenerating new growth, new reasons for customers, and new reasons to inspire your employees. And that means continual entrepreneurship, turning your company into a hotbed for great entrepreneurs. And now that means great entrepreneurs both inside the company and outside, who all can be brought in to help the greater effort to help customers do far better than any one company could ever deliver.
It's a tough job to do that. It's not easy to help somebody 8 levels down from the CEO start a new business, and it's not easy to recognize something small that seems insignificant. I remember watching Twitter get born, and you could hear older business people go, "What? That's not going to be an interesting business to participate in," but it became one. How do you make sure that your company can see both things? One, how do you grow an employee who's doesn't have the ear of the leadership? Maybe how do you make sure that he or she feels empowered to start a business? And then how do you make sure that the executives are still hungry to watch for small things that could become important?
And Robert, your question is the absolute crux of the matter. It is really hard for most companies with any success to continue to entrepreneur new successes, for a host of reasons, such as the ones that you've listed. To reuse a phrase from another context, we're here from corporate and we're here to help you entrepreneur is just the same as saying we're from the government and we're here to help. Yeah. And in fact, I think the essence of what we're trying to do is to get the company out of the way, to move it away from where the essential entrepreneurial decisions, the go-no decisions, are controlled by executives, by how an executive decides, and move it so the customers can vote. Hence our focus on enabling teams and entrepreneurs to run experiments. So you got a hypothesis, let's figure out how we can quickly test that and let the customers vote. So we're following their decisions as opposed to thinking that some exec's going to make all the decisions. And that changes the nature of entrepreneurship in a company from pleasing an executive to pleasing the customer.
Yeah.
And that's where it should be. And that's the system that we are increasingly working on.
It sounds, I don't know if you know this guy named Eric Ries, but you do know who he is.
No, we've had him come in to talk and to teach as one additional voice to inspire our people in the direction that both he and I are passionate about.
Yeah. What are you seeing happen in Silicon Valley right now? Because you're one of the few people who's run a tech company, a major tech company in Silicon Valley for decades. Or what are you seeing happen right now?
I think this is the greatest entrepreneurial period in the history of Silicon Valley. The ability to launch a new kind of business, and because of the web, have it understood and picked up by millions of people in fairly short order, without requiring huge amounts of money for branding or marketing, without requiring huge amounts of money for infrastructure or getting into the channel, opens up the kind of bubbling, euphoric entrepreneurship that is a pressure cooker where a lot more great stuff happens. many of the barriers have been removed. Now, there's still a barrier of getting customers to pay attention. There's still the barrier of getting customers to try. There's still the barrier of getting customers to trust. So there's enough barriers. I'm not trying to say entrepreneurship is easy.
Yeah.
But what the internet and mobile phones and app stores have done is to enable far more entrepreneurship at far and more rapid scale. So more ideas can be tried, more ideas can be winnowed, iterated, and win. I think it's a thrilling time, and what that means is every week there's a new surprise. Something cool and new that somebody, even a small outfit, has been able to pioneer. Part of our goal is to help those small entrepreneurs reach millions of businesses successfully and profit, reach tens of millions of consumers successfully and profit, so we can grow their businesses, grow ours, and most importantly, live true to our mission, which is to change people's lives and improve them so much they can't imagine going back to the old way.
A lot of the answers you give me also mean that areas outside the Valley are flourishing for the first time. I mean, we've been to Tel Aviv and just last week in Boulder, and New York and Shanghai and India. All these places are seeing startup entrepreneurialism take hold in a way that we've never seen outside the Valley before because of some of the things. Is that what you're also seeing?
Yes, exactly. This entrepreneurship boom and the ability to create things on a global scale used to be limited to a few rich companies. Then it was limited to a few rich companies and companies in a geographic area with lots of venture capital, like Silicon Valley. But now it's gone global, and it's democratizing the opportunity for entrepreneurs to go for the brass ring, and on a global scale, which is really cool. It's one reason why we're active in India, which is another hotbed, so that we can be working with companies there and developing our own entrepreneurial center for Intuit employees that we hire and train and develop in India to become entrepreneurs, to introduce and invent the new businesses for the developing world.
If you were 20 years old in today's world, not in the world of 30 years ago, what would you be starting a business in? Because I assume you would start a business.
Well, gosh, maybe it's because of where I work, but the problems that tend to get me most excited are the problems around the spaces that I see here. How can you help people deal with the financial stuff that's in their face and in their lives? How can they help them file taxes? How can you help people get a loan? How can people help people save for retirement? How can you help them get a business started or fund education? How can you help them get better deals on the stuff that they buy? Relevant, not spam.
That's an interesting one. Are you watching Groupon and thinking that Intuit should be in that space?
Oh, Groupon's doing some cool stuff, but I'd also say I'm watching Mint, which is entirely in the business of bringing intelligently chosen great deals to you based on you and your financial habits and what you spend money on. Yeah. So bringing stuff intensely relevant to you to your attention. So that's, why shouldn't everybody and every account have Mint-like capability, bringing you the best deals possible that fit you to like a glove?
Yeah.
So I think that's one area. I think another area is the things you can do to help small businesses, to help the entrepreneurial economy. The small businesses know they don't have the buying power of big companies. Why can't we supply that to them? Small businesses know they can't easily get the benefit programs. Well, how come we can't build the employee benefits that delight their employees and make it easy for the small businesses to get there? Heck, a whole bunch of small businesses get stiffed and don't get paid. I was amazed to learn that docs don't get paid for about a third of the money they bill consumers, patients. Patients stiff them for about a third, and when they do get paid for the 2/3, it's late, slow, like 85 days out. So the poor doc provided all the service and then got no money for it for months. These are some of the more deserving folks in our economy. They're little businesses. Typical doc office has 2 or 3 docs in it. So we're working on things to help docs get paid faster and help the patients understand the bills so they know what to pay.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of problems that I'm seeing. And then we go to the developed world.
That's interesting because my son was born almost a year ago, and we just got another bill almost a year later. Right?
Part of the reason for the slow payment is if you added the whole cycle from performance of service to final payment, you'll go far longer than 85 because it's slow to get the bills out. So we can help. We've built technology to help with that whole area. Why is it that when you want to work with a doctor's office, you revert to some of the oldest technology. You want to schedule an appointment, get a prescription renewal, go see your tests, you're on the phone.
Yeah.
Or you got to visit, and there's staff time. You can't look it up. Well, we're providing the technology so your doc can have a totally secure web environment so that you can see your tests and films, so you can get that prescription renewal, so you can schedule an appointment without 24 hours a day at your convenience, and then without costing the doc a lot of money for staff time and paper and office workers. So the medical industry is one of the ones most in need of technologies to deliver great service at lower cost, and they're just starting now to adopt the kind of stuff that we're building. So those are the kind of exciting problems that I don't know, that's what I get excited about.
And that hints at where you might take this next question. Why are you still working? Why, you don't need to work, I'm sure, right? You could go and do something else, yeah. And why still try to run a major company? Yeah.
Well, the good news is that I was CEO for the first 11 years. And then I decided we could do better, so I found a guy to become CEO, and I've had a succession of great CEOs ever since. So right now, Brad Smith has the tough job. He runs the company. So I get to work on the stuff that I want to work on, the most fun stuff. Just before this meeting, I was meeting for an hour and 45 minutes with a team, small team, 3 folks, working on what could be an entrepreneurial breakthrough for the developing world. And it's all rooted in, that's why in addition to my smartphone, I have in my pocket this plain vanilla phone, because this is what close to 4 billion people use. They don't have a smartphone, they don't have a computer, they got this. That's all they got. But they are connected. But right now it operates just as a phone. We're working on something that could transform this into a data system that could enable them to be connected to the wider world and participate in the wider world the way, in fact, even easier than people in the first world.
Sell a cow, sell goods that you're making.
Sell a good, find prices on your goods, find a day laborer to help you in the field, get educational stuff for your child at home. These are households that in some cases don't even have toilets, but they got these. And right now they can't get information on them in any useful, broad way. We think we can fix that. That kind of, if that works, this will either become a big hit or a total bust. If it works, this will change life among 4 billion people.
On the other side, because that's pretty interesting, and I could talk to you for an hour about it, what you think the low end of the cell phones world is going to be like. I'm driving around with Android and iPhone and watching Foursquare, and as I'm driving, the real-time information is changing. It's showing me who's checked in at what businesses, what businesses are around me, right? And hey, there's a McDonald's here, or there's a Starbucks here, or there's a great restaurant here. How do you think that's going to change the business world, and where do you think the real-time information systems that we're now seeing evolve, the Twitters and Facebook a little bit, and Foursquare, are going to change what you guys do?
Oh gosh, I think this is one of the great things about entrepreneurship is you can't predict. The biggest, most game-changing inventions are typically the ones you can't predict. And you're talking about a great one. It's a combination of location-based plus user contribution. So Twitter is user contribution in small bunches, but it's not location-based. Foursquare is location-based.
A little bit.
But Foursquare is location-based, but it doesn't really have rich information at this point. It's got some. I think there will be new ways of mashing this together. And I go back to this Wall Street Journal, I think it was 1998, asked a group of distinguished experts, predict the future. Tell us what technology will be like 10 years hence in 2008. Well, the good news is the Wall Street Journal went back in 2008 and looked at those predictions. The ones that were mere extrapolations, like what would be the power of a PC, the amount of RAM, the hard drive space, the experts nailed. Within 6 months, they had that right. But the Wall Street Journal also went back to say, we missed. No expert got what has been the biggest change to hit technology, and that's this explosion of user contribution. No, not a single expert. This is the power behind Wikipedia and and Facebook and Amazon reviews and Twitter. No expert got that, none. And yet it's the biggest thing. Every interesting web business is rooted around user contribution. And so I think that underscores this. I think we're at another one of those inflection points where there will be things coming out that none of us can predict that will change the world, using the very things you just described.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me.
Okay, cool. Glad you're here.
By the way, where can we find you on the web?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm not that visible. I probably have the least used piece of Facebook. I guess you'd find me through my company.
Yep. Intuit.com.
Yes, you'd find, that's my online representation and all of ours here. But I'm not much of a writer, so I don't, unlike talented people who know how to write, it's painful for me to write.
I'm still figuring it out.
Yeah, so I wish I had that talent.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, this is good. Good question.